Okay, y'all, so welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me for week 2. I'm sharing with you a mini version of this apple cider bundt cake that I found. So I'm going to use this super cute little mini bundt pan that I got from Aldi. And then I'm going to show you everything that you need. So you need cloves or ground cloves. You need ground nutmeg and cinnamon. And I've already measured those out and put those into my bowl here. And then you also need apple cider. So I have pre-measured that as well into this bowl. And so I'm also going to link the full version of this recipe to make a standard size bundt pan. But I'm doing about half of the actual recipe, so I'll leave my measurements as well if you're wanting to make a mini bundt pan. But then you need white sugar, you need pure vanilla extract. You could use the imitation as well, but I just keep the vanilla on hand, or the pure vanilla. You need confectioner's sugar, a little bit more apple cider, and some butter, and a little bit more cinnamon. And then you will also need those 3 eggs there, as well as, I forgot to show you, you will need some softened butter. So we're going to start with our wet ingredients, which is going to include the softened butter and white sugar first. I'm just going to place those into my stand mixer. You could use a hand mixer, or you could just mix this up by hand, but it will take, a little more muscle, but whatever you've got on hand will work. I keep my KitchenAid mixer on this little handy dandy cart here, and it makes it so much easier to just roll it over, plug it in, and go. So I'm going to cream together my butter and sugar here with a paddle attachment, and then I'll make sure that I stop about halfway through, and I will use the spatula. I'm at a loss for words, y'all. I am still recovering from being sick, so no longer contagious, but I sound pretty terrible, and I am definitely worn out. But I'm going to stop it here in a second, and I'll scrape down the sides of the bowl just to make sure that we're getting it all good and creamed and incorporated. And I do this for about a minute, probably, maybe a little bit longer. And then you will be good to go to add in your other wet ingredients. Then we'll add in our flour and seasonings. All right, so now we're going to add in our eggs, and then we'll add in our vanilla as well. And you're going to see that I could not decide here just how fast I wanted my little mixer to go. But just make sure you don't slosh it out of your bowl. You'll be fine. With this being the half version, we definitely were not at risk of that. And again, make sure you're scraping your sides down. And in the apple cider goes as well. Again, all of your wet ingredients. And then I'm going to add in my cinnamon and nutmeg and ground clove. And then I'm going to add in my flour. Okay, so I've got a greased and floured little mini bundt pan here. Again, if you're using the full recipe that I'll link down below for you, then you'll have a full-size bundt pan or loaf pan. And then I am just scraping this all together here and making sure that it is fully incorporated. I noticed a few little bits So we took care of that, and now I'm going to use a scoop, like I think it was a 1/4 cup measuring cup scoop, and I'm just going to evenly distribute this here into my Bundt pan. So now that my Bundt pan is evenly distributed with the cake mixture, we're going to add it into the oven, 325 for about 40 minutes for this mini Bundt pan. I think it's probably about 70 for the full-size Bundt pan. I've got some apple cider here on the stove top, just coming to a simmer, and then I added in a tablespoon of butter. Once that has melted, I'm going to add in powdered sugar and cinnamon. Again, full in the description, my full measurements of what I used for this mini Bundt pan, as well as a link to the full recipe for a full-size Bundt pan. All of that will be in the description box. Okay, so I've turned the heat off, but I'm leaving it on the eye for now of the stove, and I'm just going to mix until it is no longer lumpy, and then I will turn this heat off, take it off of the heat, and set it aside until our cake is complete and done out of the oven. And we had a little bit of a disaster. All right, so you saw the mishap. I don't know why. I would have assumed half would have been good. I don't know. Maybe it's that I used the self-rising flour. I don't know, but I believe it is done now. I cooked mine for about 40 to 40. It might have been more like 42 minutes. And I did do a little bit of sinking there, but it'll be fine. We're going to flip it over, so I'm hoping it will be just fine. I am going to let this cool for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to try to flip it onto our cake stand and drizzle our glaze over it and see what it looks like. All right, so when I flipped it out, there's a little bit of flour there and a little bit that didn't make it, but overall looks pretty good. The thing that I struggled with most is that you couldn't get this flush to the cake stand to truly flip it. So because I showed you the fluted part there in the middle is taller, so it was a little trickier, but I still think it turned out well. Here's a look at our final product with the glaze. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Leave me a comment down below, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye, y'all.